Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 473 based on novel. So let's start. This giant vortex sucked in the fog that was unique to Wang Lin and became a fog vortex. This battle was a huge blow to the Outer Realm. This caused the frenzied Outer Realm cultivators to feel sober. The Outer Realm had suffered too much in this battle. The cultivators of over a dozen tribes all died. There were no survivors from the ones that entered the Inner Realm. The Fire Sparrow clan ancestor had died, esteemed Nan Jiao had died, and even the Lord of Heaven Punishment Palace had perished. More than 100,000 cultivators were buried in the Inner Realm. The entire ancient star system was permeated in sorrow. This sorrow was intense, and it slowly turned into anger for vengeance. Influenced by this anger, even more Outer Realm clans requested for the war to continue. As the call for war increased, the Sovereign Council gave the order to prepare for the second battle. The entire Outer Realm began to prepare. They were waiting for the second battle to get revenge. Some old monsters that had been in closed-door cultivator for tens of thousands of years, like the ones Down Master Blue Dream had talked about, came out of closed-door cultivation. They stared at the Inner Realm with killing intent. The name, Lord of the Sealed Realm Wang Lin, had been firmly remembered by the Outer Realm. They clenched their teeth in hatred. It was Wang Lin who had killed the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor, killed esteemed Nan Jiao, killed Grandmaster Yun Luo's avatar, and destroyed the island she was on, resulting in her whereabouts being unknown. It was this person who had released the poison ocean and mosquito beasts that became a nightmare for the Outer Realm cultivators. It was this person who had killed countless Outer Realm cultivators that destroyed the confidence of the Outer Realm. He was the Lord of the Sealed Realm, he had to die. Wang Lin's appearance was distributed by the Sovereign Council and was now known by all Outer Realm cultivators. They had also set an unprecedented reward just to kill him. The Cloud Sea cultivators had suffered heavy casualties in this battle, with only thousands remaining. The entire Cloud Sea was now almost abandoned due to this battle. The large amount deaths caused most of the sects in the Cloud Sea to become empty. The ones remaining were the weak cultivators. The thousands of surviving Cloud Sea cultivators took the burden of educating future cultivators. They gathered the various sects from before to form the future 10 sects of the Cloud Sea. Fortunately, the God Sect, Demon Sect, and Ghost Sect hadn't revealed too much of their power. But they could barely maintain the current situation in the Cloud Sea. Due to the large amount of collapse caused by this battle, the entire Cloud Sea became unstable. Spatial rifts had appeared everywhere, so it was very dangerous to fly through the Cloud Sea. The Demon Sect had sent out nearly 70% of their cultivators to be stationed at the location of the first battle. Without the realm sealing formation, it was now the gate into the Inner Realm, even though the area was filled with spatial storms. The Ghost Sect also had sent a large amount of cultivators to be stationed here. As for the God Sect, under Mu Bingmei's leadership, they set up powerful formations and formed a blockade for the second battle that would soon occur. The summoned rivered cultivators left a part of their group here outside the fog vortex, with the beautiful middle-aged woman as the leader, and settled down. The All-Heaven cultivators had also left a part of their group. The remainder returned home to prepare for the second battle. The brilliant Void Star system that never appeared in this battle sent 10,000 cultivators after the battle ended. They were led by a woman wearing a water blue dress and settled down outside the fog vortex. This woman was very beautiful but also extremely cold. The coldness in her eyes caused all the cultivators around the vortex to feel like they were facing an iceberg. In the first battle, the Outer Realm's Grandmaster Yun Luo shocked Master Hongshan and the others. It was because of Grandmaster Yun Luo that the Inner Realm army was extremely passive during the battle. They couldn't even set a formation down. Grandmaster Yun Luo's ability to deploy troops and divinate left a deep impression on Grandmaster Hongshan and the others. If the Lord of the Sealed Realm hadn't killed her avatar, then even when the Summoned River and All-Heaven reinforcements came, they would have suffered heavy casualties. Very few large wars occurred inside the Inner Realm. As tens of thousands of years passed, they slowly lost the experience in these types of battles. This battle was a lesson, but at the same time, it allowed Master Hong Shan and company to understand that even if one has higher cultivation level, an army without a leader was just a handful of sand. The woman with the water blue dress was brought here by Master South Cloud from the brilliant Void Star system. She was not only the leader of the brilliant Void cultivators, but also the commander-in-chief of all the Inner Realm cultivators here. After this battle, the name, Lord of the Sealed Realm Wang Lin, had completely spread across the Inner Realm. Almost all the Inner Realm territories knew of the merits of the Lord of the Sealed Realm in this battle. Killing the Fire Sparrow clan's third-step ancestor, killing Outer Realm third-step cultivator esteemed Nan Zhao, killing Outer Realm commander-in-chief Grandmaster Yun Luo. With his axe, he had stopped the third invading army from the Outer Realm and caused tens of thousands of Outer Realm cultivators to not dare to take half a step into the Inner Realm. With the power of one person, he had stopped the Outer Realm cultivators from fleeing the Inner Realm. These various stories gave the Inner Realm cultivators a sense of confidence and feverish reverence. They remembered the name, Wang Lin, they remember the title, Lord of the Sealed Realm. Wang Lin's prestige increased like crazy in the Inner Realm and suppressed that of Master Hong Shan and company. He became the spiritual leader of the Inner Realm. In the end of the battle, the Lord of the Sealed Realm Wang Lin released his nether beast and eradicated the last of the invading force. The fog vortex was something he had brought out. Anyone who didn't believe this would become silent when they arrived at the Cloud Sea and saw the fog vortex. Then a sense of frenzy would slowly appear deep inside their hearts. Almost all the cultivators stationed outside the fog would silently watch the vortex that shocked their hearts and minds. After a long time, they would respectfully bow and then leave. If there were still some that did not believe, their words couldn't be heard by the cultivators of the Cloud Sea, especially those thousands of cultivators that survived the battle. Each of them were absolute fanatics when it came to Wang Lin. They wouldn't allow any disrespect toward him. To them, Lord of the Sealed Realm Wang Lin was their glory. Even if a good friend from the other star system said something disrespectful, they would immediately turn on that friend. Wang Lin's name became a legend in the Inner Realm. However, this legend had disappeared without a trace. No one knew if he was alive or dead. Master Hong Shan and the others worked together to cast a spell to find Wang Lin, but they found nothing. The nether beast that had turned into a seed seemed to have experienced something strange, and no one could find it. However, the Cloud Sea cultivators believed that the Lord of the Sealed Realm was still alive. Master Lu Fu believed that the Lord of the Sealed Realm was still alive. All Heathen Shizifeng and Planet Lingdong Xieching believed that their teacher was still alive. Shengonghu and Zhong Konglei also believed this. Esteemed Lingdong and Ju Jin's slave marks hadn't faded, and the large amount of poisonous mosquito beasts in the Cloud Sea star system made many people believe that the Lord of the Sealed Realm was still alive. Mu Bingmai, who had become the God sect master due to one line from Wang Lin, had tears in her eyes, but she firmly believed Wang Lin was still alive. In sorrow, Zichu Nan gave up cultivating in the Rain Celestial Realm and silently went drinking. He drank too much and laughed as he looked up at the sky. However, as he laughed, tears flowed down uncontrollably. He drank for 3 days, he laughed for 3 days, and he cried for 3 days. Later, he resolved to leave the Rain Celestial Realm. He was going to find his brother. When he left, Ju Ryu was filled with tears. Through her determined request, she left with Sichu Nan. Big Head and Lei Ji left 2 days after Sichu Nan left. They were going to search for their master. The first one to leave the Rain Celestial Realm was not Sichu Nan but 13. When he heard about the situation, he left without any hesitation with Wang Lin's statue. Many people were looking for Lord of the Sealed Realm Wang Lin, but no matter how much they looked, they couldn't find a single clue. Where are you? Sichu Nan and Ju Ryu looked at the vast star system. Where are you? In the all-heaven star system, Shizi Feng, Xieching, and company silently looked at the starry sky. In the God sect, after settling some trivial matter, the very tired Mu Bingmai drank a bowl of medicine soup. She silently looked at the sky outside the pavilion and muttered to herself, "Where are you?" Outside the fog vortex in the Cloud Sea, the woman in the water blue dress looked at the fog vortex, and after a long time, she let out a sigh. "You don't know who I am. Where are you?" 13 was silently flying through the stars. He had a determined expression as he searched endlessly, relying on his faint connection and the aura from the statue. The mosquito beasts were also looking for Wang Lin. There were many of them, and with the poison ocean fused into them, they had obtained a powerful toxin. They didn't attack any cultivators, but the horde howled as they searched. Their sad hiss was like a young child that had just lost their parents. Any cultivator who saw this group of mosquitoes would stop and bow toward them. In the brilliant Void Star System, or the Alliance Star System, there was an chaotic area filled with shattered rocks in the far northern area. At this moment, there was a piece of gravel the size of a fist floating there. This piece of gravel was covered in holes that connected to the interior. The nether beast that had turned into a seed was hiding here. It was terrified by the destructive storm and had lost its wits. With its personality, it was prepared to hide here until it died. The outside world was too terrifying, too terrifying. There was a sky and stars in the strange world inside the nether beast, but there was no life. To be more accurate, very few lives. Before Wang Lin, there was only one other person. It was that poor cultivator that was scared by the nether beast twice and thought the world inside the nether beast was the real world outside. There was a semi-collapsed cultivation planet inside the nether beast. This planet was no longer round, there was no vegetation on it, and it was completely silent. A cultivator with broken clothes filled with facial hair crouched there and stared at a body on the ground. Strange, is this person not dead? A few days ago, before I left, he wasn't this large, and after leaving for a few days, he grew quite a bit. From the looks of this, it will take a few years to be completely grown. Well, it seems to have something to do with my blood. The dull-eyed cultivator touched his chin as he walked around the corpse several times and kicked it a bit. Damn it, you dare to pretend to be dead before this king? The cultivator glared and kicked the body. Seeing no response, he immediately went for a few more kicks. Finally, he giggled and jumped on the body. After jumping on it for an hour, he felt satisfied and lied down on the ground, staring at the sky in a daze. He had been searching this place for countless years, but he hadn't seen a second person. He still remembered that an unknown number of years ago, he was also lying here, looking at the sky in a daze. He had been begging the heavens to give him a fellow cultivator to play with. He thought of this almost every day, but this time was different. Just as he thought of this, his eyes widened and there was a flash of light in the starry sky. He saw something fall from the sky and land on the other side of this planet. He was startled for 4 or 5 days before he reacted. He then rushed toward the other side of the planet in joy. He had found this broken body there and brought it back here. Finally, someone to accompany me. Although it's a dead man, how can a dead body be growing again? Oh. Maybe, who knows? I say, today is going to rain. Little Red, go bring the rain shelter jade. Eh? I ate it last time I got drunk, you say? Then go ask the Lee family for another. Damn it, if they won't give it, tell them this king will ask my big brother to steal it tomorrow. That might be the case. Maybe there isn't enough silver to use. What if there is not enough? Little Gooey, go find my big brother and tell him to give me some. If he doesn't give any, tell him that tomorrow this king will let. I'll go steal it myself. The cultivator didn't even know what he was muttering. This phenomenon started when he was trapped in the seven-colored realm. If it wasn't for this random muttering, he would have really gone crazy. After muttering for a long time, he let out a big breath and he looked at the corpse. His expression suddenly changed and became fierce. You dare to scare this king? Let's see how this king will deal with you, he roared. As he roared, he jumped into the air and his hands formed seals, creating a large amount of spells that launched at the body. The earth rumbled for a long time, and before the rumbling stopped, this madman cultivator used even more spells. The bombardment continued for several consecutive days. If a third-step cultivator saw the spells this madman was using, they would terrified. Little Pink, take my move. The madman raised his right. The world rumbled and then a giant palm print appeared. However, the palm print seemed to be lacking power and immediately collapsed when it touched the body. However, the palm was filled with power and majesty. This was the most authentic war spirit print. It was like the war spirit print the Lord of the Sealed Realm left at the God sect, but the one used by this madman was even more authentic. "Little Silver, watch how this king hits you," the madman roared, then he pointed at the sky. The entire sky suddenly turned into a canopy and a giant pillar that supported the sky appeared. It was a giant umbrella. Realm-burning umbrella, burn for this king. The madman waved his right hand and the umbrella shrank until he could hold it in his right hand. He poked the body on the ground with it, but although the umbrella was powerful, it was, in fact, powerless. The moment it touched the corpse, it immediately dissipated. "Old man Li Guang, take old man's arrow." The madman smiled and raised his hands as if he was holding a bow. There was no bow in his hands, but an arrow suddenly appeared and shot toward Wang Lin. "Seven-colored little girl, your husband has been forced away by my big brother. I say, you better follow this king. You see, I can use the seven-colored spell as well." The madman raised his right hand and there was a flash of seven-colored light. The seven-colored light turned into a spell wheel that flew forward. Time slowly passed. The madman continued to chatter and used large amounts of spells that had never appeared in the inner or outer realms. It wasn't until a few days later that the madman slowly stopped. He was gasping for breath on the side and revealed a look of satisfaction. "Not bad, not bad. This king's spells have become even stronger, not bad. Now it's time to practice my strength." He stood up and walked up to the corpse. There was a bow in the corpse's hand. The bow was being held tightly by the corpse, but its string was broken. It was attached to the bow on one end and the other was fused with the flesh of the corpse. The madman rubbed his hands and grabbed the bow. His face turned red as he tried to drag the bow away. His body jumped and he continued to roar. "Damn it, this damn person from the ancient nation holding the Li Guang bow. Even when dead, he is still so strong. Hey, what did I just say? Ancient nation? Li Guang's bow?" The madman was startled for a moment and loosened his hand. He then thought for a long time. He looked at the corpse and shook his head, saying, "Ancient nation, that feels very familiar. I feel a lot of hatred." After a long time, he still couldn't think of anything. He scratched his head and let out a sigh as he looked down at the body before him. He then bit his finger on his right hand and placed it in the mouth of the corpse. "Drink it, drink more so you can quickly regrow your body so you can play with me." He had not just been feeding this body for 1 or 2 days. Ever since he found the body, whenever he remembered, he would feed the body some of his blood. This king's blood is very precious. That little girl from the Li family begged me for many years before I gave her a drop. And there was also who was it? Little Red, who was it? Oh, it was that sect saintess who was kidnapped by that person. If not for the fact that I thought she was pitiful, this king wouldn't have given it to her. 1 drop of this king's blood is more precious than the Tao Sage. Alas, there is no food to eat. Little Red, go to the Kaimu family to get me some fruit. That fruit their family grows that only grows once every 100,000 years. The dream fruit. Bring it to me. If they don't give it, tell them that this king will get my big brother to steal it for me tomorrow." As the madman muttered to himself, he didn't notice that the corpse that was rapidly recovering suddenly slowed down after absorbing his blood. Not only did the recovery stop, but it reversed, making the injury even worse. There was a power that was rejecting this blood like crazy, as if they couldn't exist together. However, during this rejection, there was a hint of fusion. This corpse was Wang Lin. The blood from the madman couldn't merge with the ancient order power inside him at all. The two devoured each other like crazy, as if they were in a life and death struggle. This mutual destruction caused Wang Lin's body to go through a strange change. This change seemed to be changing his bloodline. A change from a mortal to a true celestial. The Li Guangbo hadn't recognized another owner since its owner's death, and not even old Ghost John thought anyone would be recognized as its owner. As this change took place within Wang Lin, a heaven-shaking change was happening with the Li Guangbo as well. If old Ghost John saw this personally, even he would be filled with disbelief. The broken bowstring that had grown into Wang Lin's body was slowly fusing with Wang Lin's new bloodline. The power of Wang Lin's bloodline was slowly permeating the entire bow. The bow gave off faint cheers of excitement that only Wang Lin could hear. This was a cry of joy for finding another master after its first master had died countless years ago. The bow felt that Wang Lin's changing bloodline was 100 times more pure than its previous master, like the difference between water and wine. The madman stared at the sky in a daze and continued to mutter to himself. "It's raining. Hey, little red, come and rub your master's shoulders. Go tell my big brother that this kid is tired and I'm not going to cultivate. I'm going out to play. Tell him to not come find me. Once I play enough, I'll go back. If he dares to find me like in the past, I'll cut all relations with him." Every time Wang Lin's ancient god power reached the critical moment of healing, it was blocked by the blood from this madman. This made Wang Lin's injury worse and his body was like the raging sea. This intense pain was enough to make one mad. If Wang Lin wasn't unconscious, it wouldn't be too bad, but Wang Lin had regained consciousness a long time ago. However, when he awakened, his body was filled with the blood of this madman. This blood was filled with an extremely pure power. Wang Lin had never seen this kind of power in his life. Only the no celestial spell that he saw when he sat on the throne in Ancient Order Tomb could match it in power. However, this power couldn't be used by Wang Lin. It was hidden inside Wang Lin's blood and flowed through his body. As it fought with the ancient god power, it slowly fused with Wang Lin's bones and blood. The bones were the source of creating blood. The blood from the madman continued to enter Wang Lin's bone marrow and change his bloodline. One's bloodline was in the bone marrow. To change the bone marrow was to change one's bloodline. If successful, the blood that will flow through Wang Lin would be like the madman's, noble and pure. Wang Lin could feel an indescribable feeling from this sense of nobility. It was enough to shake one's mind. Wang Lin was shocked to find that as the blood flowed into his body, his origin soul trembled as if this blood was some unimaginably noble existence. An existence that was at the peak of cultivators. As time passed and this pure blood flowed through Wang Lin's body, his body would undergo a metamorphosis like a mortal becoming an celestial. The sobered Wang Lin was terrified by this blood, but he also saw all the spells the madman had used on him. It was as if millions of bolts of thunder had exploded in his mind and he couldn't recover for a long time. The madman's muttering caused monstrous waves to surge in Wang Lin's mind. However, Wang Lin couldn't ponder about this in detail due to the intense pain in his body. The pain he felt now was several times stronger than when he faced the Ancient Order trial. He couldn't move his body, not even open his eyes. His origin soul was being locked in place by the blood, so he wasn't able to move at all. Fortunately, during this intense pain, there were cheers coming from the bow. This cheer gave off a sense of warmth that eased Wang Lin's pain. He had a very strange feeling, as if the bow in his hand had fused with him and became part of his blood. He also saw that the bow that had never recognized an owner didn't recognize him but his slowly changing bloodline. It was as if only with this bloodline would it recognize someone as its owner. This king's blood is very, 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 very. I remember there being a little witch named Fei Fei who borrowed something from me, the madman muttered to himself as he sat beside Wang Lin, confusion filling his eyes. After a long time, he shook his head and took his finger out of Wang Lin's mouth. He then put it into his own mouth, and after licking it, he revealed an intoxicated expression. Even this king enjoys this king's blood. However, I can't carelessly give it away. My big brother said that just one drop of this blood can. What can it do? Little Red, where the hell did you go? This king has been here for so many years and you still haven't come to find this king. Just you wait, once this king comes home, this king will eat you. As the madman muttered to himself, he seemed to become angry. He got up and walked around Wang Lin several times before he finally stopped. There seemed to be anger inside him. When he saw how Wang Lin was still not recovering and had returned to the state of when he found him, he became even more angry. How come it's so difficult to grow a body? Is it difficult? If this king was in your state, I would have already recovered. How many years has it been? Why must you be so stupid? The madman got more and more angry as he spoke. After kicking for a bit, his face became even more angry and he began jumping on Wang Lin's body. He continued to jump and shout like a crazy person. My big brother said that my family's blood can heal all injuries in the world. This king has given you so much, but your body still hasn't recovered. You. The madman jumped to the side and stared at Wang Lin. His mouth never stopped talking. This king just refuses to believe this won't work. Just you wait, the madman muttered as he raised his right hand and hit his chest. The moment he hit his chest, a strange mark appeared on it. The madman's body trembled and his face became red. He then coughed out a mouthful of blood that landed on Wang Lin's body. This king has plenty of blood. Quickly recover your body to play with this king. That mouthful of blood couldn't compare to the trickle of blood from his finger. It was like the difference between a stream and a mighty river. This blood was golden and filled with a pure energy. When it landed on Wang Lin's body, Wang Lin trembled. All the pores on his body opened to quickly absorb this blood. In just an instant, all the blood was absorbed clean. The large amount of blood entered his body and turned into a storm. It began a slaughter with Wang Lin's ancient god power, and some of it directly fused with his bone marrow, beginning his metamorphosis. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, the madman's face turned pale and he gasped for breath. He stared at Wang Lin, but the anger in his eyes became even stronger. Still no effect. You wait for this king to take a break, just you wait. The madman sat down while filled with anger. He didn't sit down to cultivate but just sat there. Then he suddenly got up and stood before Wang Lin. Damn it, if this king doesn't give out my blood voluntarily, even if someone drains all my blood, it will be no use. I refuse to believe you can't regrow your body, the madman roared, and his right hand hit his chest once more. This time he hit himself 3 times. One mouthful of blood flew out, then the madman's face turned pale and he retreated 2 steps. Then he coughed out the second mouthful of blood, and following that came the third mouthful of blood. The 3 mouthfuls of blood turned into a rain of blood that fell on Wang Lin. Damn your! The madman's eyes were red-eye, and even if his big brother was here, he won't be able to stop him. He let out a roar, bit the tip of his tongue, and spat a blood arrow at Wang Lin. This blood was his life essence, which was many times more precious than his ordinary blood. Then his eyes rolled over and he fell down, passing out due to the excessive loss of blood. Before he passed out, he was still muttering to himself. This king's blood is very precious. This time, I seem to have overdone it. So dizzy. Little Red, come and massage this lord. Wang Lin's body was covered in blood. This blood seemed to be alive. When it landed on him, it drilled into his body through his pores. The large amount of blood, especially the life essence blood, caused an indescribable pressure to erupt inside Wang Lin's body. Wang Lin's ancient order power collapsed and was suppressed, but they didn't fuse on a large scale. Nevertheless, because the ancient order power was suppressed, the blood that had been poured into his body directly entered his bones and fused with his bone marrow. This fusion didn't only take place in small areas like before, it instantly fused together. Wang Lin's body trembled and a large amount of red dots appeared all over his body. Large amounts of his own blood was being moved. As the blood fused with his bone marrow, new blood was created. Just as the new blood was born, a noble aura erupted from Wang Lin's body. This noble aura was like something that belonged the ruler of the world, even the world itself had to bow before it. The 9-colored fire in his left eye burned brightly and could vaguely be seen through his eyelids. However, as it burned, the noble aura from his bone marrow caused the 9-colored fire to collapse into countless flames, but they all soon fused back together. A golden fire suddenly appeared. This golden fire contained the Tao of the heavens, but it wasn't Tao fire. With the appearance of the golden fire, the thunder in Wang Lin's right eye rumbled. The aura from the blood caused the thunder to collapse, and the 9 accompanying thunders also collapsed. The moment that the thunder and accompanying thunders all collapsed, A bolt of golden thunder appeared in Wang Lin's closed right eye. Gold, everything was gold. However, this gold wasn't very deep, it was very light. However, it was still enough to terrify anyone who knew the secret of this gold color. Gold, the color of celestials. Real celestials. Golden fire had appeared in his left eye and golden thunder flashed in his right eye. If Wang Lin were to open his eyes, all the cultivators who saw his eyes would be shocked. They would feel an indescribable pressure erupting from Wang Lin's eyes. This video will end here.